Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Reverend Sylvester Hampton, one man of God, unfiltered. Welcome to my channel. Today's lesson is going to be a lesson that I covered briefly a few weeks ago, but I want to dive into it deeper because I want to make sure that we are clear. I'm going to throw some more information into it, some more elements that I think I overlooked the last time we covered that. Today's lesson is going to be the challenge from within your household, coming from your son. It's head of households. I'm talking to the men. You're going to go through some challenges from without the house, from Satan. He's going to try to bombard your wife with all kinds of issues that she's going to, and his idea is to pry the family apart. Your wife is not the only target that he uses. I told you he uses your children too. And one of the children that he's going to be using is your son. You remember, you're supposed to raise your son as so that he will eventually become the head of his household because he's emulating you. You're going to raise him to take on a wife, what a wife looks like. He looks at his mother, and he sees how his mother is performing her wifely duties, and that's the kind of person that he wants to marry too. So, but you as the man have to show him how a man conducts his household as a man, head of a household, pastor of this house, lord of his house. So he's going to be the protector, the server, and the main trainer of his household, because the legacy's going through him, as your legacy's going through him. Okay, but before that happens, there is going to be at least one time that a boy grows up and he believes that he can whoop his daddy's butt. Okay, it's going to happen, and you have to, as the head of household, you got to be prepared for that time to happen when it happens. And when it happens, you got to be prepared to go to battle with him and whip his behind like he's a man outside. I'm telling you, because you got to take his heart away from him. You got to be prepared to whip his butt. And it's not a nice thing. You got to turn into a beast because he's going to challenge you. And you have to be prepared, man. And I remember the time when my son bucked up against me. He was a teenager, and he was just as big as me. And I grabbed him on his. He bucked against me and said, "How it happens subtly." When you raise your children, say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and when he starts answering you to yeah, no, and all that, and you already said it's not no, yeah, no, it's yes, yes sir, no sir. You don't address me that way. When he starts challenge, he may come to a point where he will stop saying yes sir to you. So even after you say, "What did you say to me?" "Oh, I'm sorry, yes, sir." Then he will say, "Yeah," knowing that he violated you when he said, "Yes, sir." If you don't follow up on that, that's the start of disrespect, okay, and disobedience. And because he's wanting to know whether or not you have the balls to make him, to correct him. Or what he'll do is he'll start feeling your arm, wearing your shoes, putting on your shoes to see if his feet as big as yours, and this is all subtle. And when he grows up, he feels that he's big enough, or he will take karate lessons or something like that. When he feels that he's big enough, then he's going to challenge you. And when that happens, you got to be prepared to jack him up, because if he whips your butt, Dad, you got to throw him out. There can't be two. You cannot have your son have bigger balls in your household than you. So you got to throw him out right then and there. There can't be no room. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And men, do not allow your wife to get in the middle between you and your son, because that is dangerous. Dangerous. You don't allow her to if your son, I'm telling you, if your son beat you, you got to throw him out, because he cannot. Two men with the same balls cannot exist in the same household. You can't have that, because if you allow that, you have lost control of your house, and that can't happen. You got to throw him out. Now, I had in my household, I had 3 other brothers. So, but there are 4 boys in my household with my father, mother, and 4 boys. I challenged my father. You know, you go around, you think, my father, when he was in his absence, I was trying on his shoes and see if my feet are big as his, and just to see my size, try on his shirt to see if I'm get bigger than him and everything. And then the day came that I challenged him. I felt that I could beat him. But this was during the time when you were boxing, you know, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali boxing, and boxing was very popular. So I challenged the old man to get in the backyard, and I'm going to wear him out. He punched the hell out of me, knocked me in my face, and I was seeing stars and tears coming out of my eyes. I took those gloves off, and that was the last time I challenged my daddy. He was prepared. You got to be prepared to crush the boy. You do. If you don't, then he's gonna win, and he feels that and you got to crush him. You got to take his heart. You got to hit him so damn hard that he won't even think about doing it again. Man, you got to do it. You got to come and you got to whip his ass just like he was a stranger out there, because he's challenging your authority. All boys grow up to challenge their father's authority. And if the father's not prepared, and if the father allows him to take advantage of that, and you don't crush him, he won the battle. And you're going to have a hard time getting respect from your household. Now, in the case of a stepfather's different, especially if the reason why we say that you have no business marrying being a stepfather, because the stepfather has no authority in his house from the start. He has no authority. All he is an ATM machine. He has no authority in his house at all, because especially if the biological father of the children are still alive, the son thinks that he can challenge you already from day one, because you ain't his daddy. And he's got his daddy as his back. So he's going to challenge you, and he wants you to hit him because he can go up and tell his daddy, and his daddy is waiting in the wings, ready to come in there and whip your butt for hitting his kids. That's the reason why you have a problem when you have stepchildren. You never have a stepdaddy situation, because you have no authority in your house from the start. Because the wife is never going to picture you as authority figure. You're not going to ever be in charge of disciplining her children. You're not. And it's always going to be her children. You're never going to get any respect from the children, because they still respect their daddy, their biological father. You paying all the bills, you can't buy their love, because they don't respect you. You can't buy their respect. You're paying all the bills and everything, especially if he's a deadbeat dad. I don't care if he's paying child support payments or not. There's something that he's not paying. Those child support payments are not going to cover every single thing. So, but you're just a walking ATM machine and expected to take on that role. Don't you allow that to happen. That's the reason why you don't get involved with that when you have a step situation. That won't work. So what I'm talking about is talking about your biological children, not a stepdaddy situation. You're going to have to be prepared, men, to defend your household from your son, because he's going to challenge you. Excuse me. You're going to have to be prepared to face your son and whip him down. Mama has nothing to do with this. This is between you and the son. Now, when that happens, and you have other sons behind them, the other sons will see that you whipped the older boy's butt. They won't challenge you anymore. They won't. You don't have to worry about that. You only got to worry about that one time, if you do it right. I'm not saying that there may be some others that you might have to challenge once or twice another time, because another son is going to grow up to say, well, he did it wrong. I can take this. I can take the old man on, and you have to crush him too. Remember, it's very important that if he whips you, you got to get him out of the house. He can't stay. You got to go. You got to banish him from the house. If you bought the car, he leaves that car. It's up to you. You can let him take the car, but if he didn't, only the clothes in his back, let him go. Get him the hell out of your house. He think he grown, let him. He don't want to do what you say do in your house. He don't want to abide by your rules. He's got to go. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay? Men, you're going to be challenged in your household by your son. It's going to happen, and that's normal. That's normal. Every boy grows up to feel that there's going to be a point where he feels that he can whip his daddy. And when that happens, men, you got to be prepared, and you got to be able to battle and to win respect. You can't allow him to hit you and get away with it. You got to crush him. It could be and he will buck up against you, maybe verbally, but you gotta nip that in the bud. You're gonna have to challenge him. Say, who you talking to? And if he's stupid enough to come at you and say and repeat it, then that's when you have to jack him up and throw his ass against the wall and say, come on, motherfucker. You want to you got a little bit of hair on your balls and you think that you can whip me? Okay, come on. Let's do this thing. You got to come out and you got to cuss him out. You got to be prepared to handle it, and you got to act like a heathen. Because he's never seen you that way before. You ain't never cussed him out like that before, and you got to come out of your shell, because you are battling for the respect of your household, and you got to battle for it. It's normal for the boys to come out. Now, women, mothers, you may go through the same thing with your daughters. When the daughters get to be a certain age, they're gonna buck against their mama, but it's not as tough as the father. Mother's got a buck too, because the daughter's gonna grow up thinking that they can whip their mama. Daughters and fathers are a different kind of situation. You don't have to worry about daughters bucking against dad. They love their daddy, and the daddy loves the daughters. Period. That's a relationship that's close. She envies her daddy, so she's not gonna buck against him. It's the son that's gonna buck against you, and you got to be prepared, and you got to be able to win and crush him when that happens. Okay, remember, stepfathers, when you're in a stepfather situation, you're challenged from day one, because those kids are going to say, you ain't my daddy, you can't tell me what to do. Because if you crush him, you go into jail, because the mama's going to call the police on you, and you're going to be arrested for assault and battery. You can't do that with your stepchildren. That's the reason why you should not be in a stepdaddy situation. It's a thankless job. Thankless. That's the reason why women need to leave the children with the daddy. Then it wouldn't be an issue. As long as, because the children do belong to the father. So he believes when a woman wants to leave, let her leave and leave the children behind with the daddy. So that wouldn't be an issue. That wouldn't be an issue. But I'm talking about when you're in a step situation and you bring the children to live under your roof, or you crazy enough to go and live under their roof. Men are not supposed to do that. You're supposed to bring the woman to your nest. Okay, just as Jesus is going ahead of us to find a place and so that he can come back and get us and bring us to. That's how we're supposed to do with a wife. We're supposed to go prepare a place for a wife that we're going to marry. We have a house for her to come, and we're going to go out and find a wife to bring them to your castle. That's how it's supposed to go, just like Jesus did. Okay. I can't say enough. This is going to be just short and sweet, and let you know that there's going to be a time, and the challenge is you're going to be challenged by your son, and you got to be prepared to handle that challenge. And I say again, if by some chance he's bigger and he whips you, he's got to leave. He can't stay in the same house as you. No way. You got to let him go, and you got to make sure that he gets out of your house. Because if he's big enough to to not do what you say in your household, and you're not the king, you got to banish him. He can't stay in your house. Okay. You got to be fair, hard but fair. That's how we do things as men. And do not. This is between you and the son, not the mama. The mama stay in her place. Don't allow her to come between you and the son. Okay, and it's just y'all. You know, I say again. The other siblings may see that you crushed him. They ain't not gonna challenge you, but don't be surprised. There may be some others that some kids that get hard heads. They feel that, oh, that's just him. That you got to prove it all over again to them. Okay, so I'm just letting you know it's a possibility that you may have to defend yourself from numerous sons. But for the most part, once is enough. Okay. This is something that will happen, and you can't avoid it. It's gonna happen. That's men. It's a rite to passage with boys. It's a rite to passage. That's how they do. That's how we all go through that as boys. Not every boy is going to challenge their daddy if they saw their older sibling got his butt kicked. He says, "Oh hell, I ain't gonna challenge dad because I remember what he did by my older brother. I'm not doing that." Okay, that's the optimum. That's what you want, but you got to do it. And there's not anything that you can avoid. It's gonna happen. You got to be prepared when it does happen. Okay? I'm talking biological sons that came from you. Your child came from you. Your legacy. That is how it goes. You can't do that with a stepchild. It don't work. Because you're going to get locked up. Because the mama's going to take you to the police and get you locked up. You can't do that. That's the reason why they say that you shouldn't marry. A stepdaddy situation is not an honorable position. Okay, especially if you're going into a step situation. And she has a son. You're going to go through that. He's going to challenge you from day one because he knows that you're not his daddy. And he's going to do that. And if his his biological father's alive, that you're going to have a double problem because he's going to buck you and he's going to have no respect for you at all. and mama ain't gonna have any respect for you because she's not gonna allow you to discipline her children. Okay, which are not her children. She should have left them. She should have left them with the daddy. Okay, but that's something that you got to be aware of. You're gonna be challenged by your son, and it's when. And when it happens, you got to be prepared to defend it. And you got to be prepared to crush him. Period. Crush him. And you got to defeat him decisively. It ain't no hit here and hit there and that's it. No, because if you hit here and hit there, he feels that, okay, maybe next time I'll try to get it a little harder. No, you got to crush him the first time. He won't do it no more. Okay. This lesson was supposed to be is for the men, just making you aware that you are not only challenged from Satan, you're going to be challenged from within your own household, and you're going to be challenged to your son. That's normal. You did it with your daddy, and it's coming to you too. It's your son's going to do it to you. Okay, that's normal. That's how it is with sons and fathers. Okay, just be prepared and be prepared to bring out a lunch. Because it could be a long day or it could be something short. Like my daddy, hell, it took him about 5 minutes when we were boxing that he knocked me in my face and I started seeing stars, and that was it. Bam, he hit me once and that was enough. So it could be a situation like that. Okay, so it's up to you to be prepared. That means that you got to exercise. You got to keep yourself in shape because it's coming, man. It's coming. You got to keep yourself in shape to prepare because that young boy, your son's growing up, and he's gonna burn. He's just as big as you, and you got to be prepared to bring it. You can't allow him to win. Okay. That's part of being the head of household, the king of the castle. Because you're going to always be challenged from within. Okay. This lesson was designed to make the men aware that the challenge is going to be coming from your son and how to conduct yourself. Your son and you love each other. He respects you. You make sure that you, when he does challenge you, and he will, that you buck that down. You got to crush him. Okay. And all it takes is he won't do it anymore. But you got to make sure that you do that. And it's going to happen. You can't avoid it. Amen. I want to go over that with you to let you know. And also, what's new about this is that I put the stepdaddy situation in there that you can't do that as a stepfather. Okay, it's completely different. You can't do that as a stepfather. Stepfather situation, you're never going to be. Your wife is not. It's always going to put your children, her children, before you. You're never going to be her priority on her list. And that's the way it is. You're just an ATM machine, a man that's living in a castle that you have no authority on. You're just a ATM machine. No authority in your household, none whatsoever. It's just you by yourself with her and her children together. They're against you. Don't. That's not a good position to be in, and that's not an honorable position. Okay, man. I hope and pray that this register in your head. I hope that what I taught you or said to you today is going to get fertile ground and it will grow and prosper. Once again, remember, thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you'll get advised on any other thing that I have put out forth, and also let people know about me. Share the lessons with somebody else. Okay, we're gonna do this thing. Remember, we are men of God, and we are peculiar people. I'm talking to men of God who are in the members only club. Okay? I'm not talking about the Pookies and Ray Rays and the Babies. I ain't talking to them. I'm talking to men of God. This is your channel. I'm dedicated to you. Amen. I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. My prayers is with you and your family. I pray that God will continue to bless you, will continue to give you the wisdom and the strength to carry on, because you have the whole world on your shoulder. You have the weight of the family on you, and continue to cover them, continue to rule over them, and to continue to train up your children, because they are your legacy. Those are your children. Remember that. You're the choice. You're the prize. And everybody is looking at you to make the right decision. Okay? Remember the chain of command. The chain of command is God first, then as you follow God, the woman and children follows you. Amen. Your children. You take care. I love you. There ain't nothing you can do about it. Until the next time, this is Reverend Sylvester Hampton, one man of God, unfiltered. Until the next time, you have a good one. Bye-bye.